and began to fashion it that way. Oh, the smoke. Smoke follows beauty.
If you're cute, it follows you.
Because science. What do you do in Wakapadupi?
Wakaponeta.
Konene.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm from Waxahachie, Texas. We're visiting Wapakoneta, Ohio.
Yes.
Hey, so one of the reasons why we didn't put an episode out this past week was because we have been so busy.
I couldn't breathe. It was some bad video.
Actually, it's probably comical and it would be okay. One of the reasons why we didn't have an episode this past week was because we have just been swamped with activities and events.
Kind of leads into why we're here. We were at the part where it's time to start building everything, and you know, like I said, we haven't done this before, so why not come out here and take a tour of the Airstream facility, figure out what else we could do in Ohio. We don't know yet. There's some caverns. So today we're in Ohio at the Airstream Factory, or the plant.
The Mothership.
It's amazing.
There is a photo of Wally there on the wall. He actually started in 1920 on a Model T chassis building a camper. Then in 1931 he sold blueprints for $5 a print. We have a 1935. At that one you can take some pictures of it and I'll open the door. The entrance door is over the front instead of on the side where Wally put his. He bought that company out of bankruptcy and NASA. Airstream built 4 units for NASA. Built the shuttles that took the astronauts out to the launching pad. It's the only way to go see it in this good old USA is in an RV, and it doesn't matter what kind, although I do hope it's always an Airstream. But it doesn't matter what kind you got, but everyone will do the same thing. And places to go and places to see. That's a cute little 16-footer.
Completed our extremely educational tour, and so we're all going to share a little bit about what we learned and what were our favorite parts about the tour.
The best thing that I saw so far is everything's still done by hand. Yes, there was machines that would form the parts, but everything from the rivets to the flooring to the frame is still done by hand.
Yes.
When I first walked in, there was tons of people running around and stuff everywhere, and I thought it was chaotic, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like a huge mess. But then I started to look at everything, and everybody has their designated space where they work on their parts, and everybody's actually really organized. It just kind of looks chaotic, but they're all working really hard, and they all have their own tasks, and they're working as a team very well.
That's fine. And another favorite part of the day was getting a new hoodie. Yeah.
I love hoodies.
For the guy who was speaking, he said that most of the time, they complete 100 Airstreams in 1 week.
Wow, is that a lot?
So yeah, 20 Airstreams a day. They're backlogged over 3,000
Yeah.
Airstreams.
Which is kind of insane, honestly.
So
They're
if they're
selling units they haven't even started to build.
there's a research here.
So my favorite part was that they have these really cool chambers that they put the Airstreams in after they have finished basically the outer shell, and they basically pressure wash, but in an intense way, all over the rig to look for any kind of interior leaks. The tour guide said that there's no other manufacturer that does that, that this is special, that Airstream does this. And I
Actually-
think that's unique because in the inspection field, you know, one of the things our inspectors look for are signs of water damage. And if it starts right off the manufacturing line with a leak, that's really hard.
Oh yeah, you can't even power wash, you know,
So-
any other unit out there.
So this was really cool to get to see all the different pieces that come together to put one of these units together. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, really.
One of the things that I enjoyed seeing, or I thought was interesting, is when we were walking out, one of the last things I saw is they pay attention to details very well. Because there was like even a little bit of a dent, they marked it with tape and they put the guy's name on there saying, oh, this is the person that dented it. And then they fix it.
Or maybe it's the guy who has to come back and take it
Yeah,
out.
this is on Jack.
It was
Jack
like,
did this.
It was like Braden or something. Anyways,
Oh,
but
calibrate it out.
sorry, but they pay
Sorry,
attention
Braden.
to details. So like they care about what their customers get. Some companies don't care, but they do care. So I thought that was interesting to get to see that.
Something else really cool that happened is one of our followers saw our post about coming up to this area, and he sent us a message and said to look him up when we got here. So Tim Smith works in one of the departments near the inn. He said he's a troubleshooter. We invited him to come down to Texas and help us troubleshoot all the issues
Yeah,
we're going to run
electrical
into.
troubleshooter. Yeah. Some of the stuff you know, that we came for, you know, as we began to build this, it was really nice to see how some of the stuff was done. It really gives us an insight to how things were done, or how things are done now, and maybe how things were done differently back then.
Yeah, what we were able to do really is see them build this from, I guess, really, I think from the top down. Because, you know, they build the ribs and then they put the exterior shell on or pieces of it on, and then they start finishing out the inside, and it was really just kind of neat. And what was really cool was they have this like, what would you call it, like a crane system that was built on the ceiling of the warehouse.
The crane
that would
hoist.
pick up the units and move them down the assembly line into the various stages. So that was cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, a crane hoist is what it is. Where I have a gantry, which is made out of wood. Crane hoist is what they use, and so everything, you know, shell off. Got to see them actually put the frame together and the pieces what they're doing. And what they're doing now, of course, is actually laying some aluminum underneath the plywood in the front part of the unit. Probably because that's where most of the previous weather, rust, and whatnot would take place. So they're adding that additional layer, and so it's it's kind of a consideration, cost versus value.
Yeah,
of
and we
doing
saw that their fiberglass, it looks like fiberglass, but it's not pink, it's brown, and that's because it's made out of cardboard and paper. So health-wise, it's safer.
Right.
However, for us, it
Still
still
absorbs
absorbs
water, yeah.
So as we were going through it, we saw some things that we knew in our build we probably would do a little bit differently, but it was really, really awesome to see how many people work here, all the different moving pieces of the process. And when you buy an Airstream, you know that there are many hands that have touched the process of building that unit.
Still,
And so,
still done by hand.
yeah, I mean, the only machines they really use are to like cut out exact like measurements as far as like the window placements and all the little holes for where the like electricity outlets are going to go. And but as far as putting the furniture together and assembling it and installing all those, it's all done by hand. There are people who are building this. That justifies the purchase price for sure. So the guy who gave the tour, his name's Don Ambos, and he's actually worked for Airstream for
Since 1958.
like 40 years, 50 years, 70 years, 60 years.
We'll do that again. So Don is our tour guide. He's been with the company since 1958. So how many years is that?
60 years.
60 years.
Yeah.
He's been here.
So that means that he was working here for 20 years by the time our unit came off the manufacturing line.
All right, so we are sorry that we had to cut the video short. We did make it back. However, some of the video didn't make it back. As you saw a couple episodes ago, we did have a hard drive failure. I was able to recoup most of the video. Some of it we didn't. But at Airstream, you know, they allow you to videotape everything on the outside, nothing on the inside. So we're trying to bring that information to you. We thoroughly enjoyed it, and we hope that at least it gives you an insight if you haven't been already. We're back in Texas.
Yep.
And since we've been back in Texas, there's a couple of exciting things that are taking place, which we'll talk about in the next video or two. We won't release it now, but some of you may have already found out, but we'll be releasing that shortly. And again, we just ask that if you like our videos, we do ask that you click subscribe. We will be putting out videos every week, and the how-to videos are starting up. We're full force with repairing the Airstream. It's currently at the frame's at the shop now, and they're ordering all the metal for it. And hopefully we'll have that back within a week or two.
Sorry, you said everything.
Yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.